I know it's very difficult raising a child in the diaspora, and I know that there must be a lot of things that clash with the communities that you do live in. And I think hats off to all the parents that are doing so. But this will make coming to an Armenian school, sending your child to an Armenian school will make it that much easier for that to happen. You're giving them a gift, really, by sending them to St. Stephen's.
Ես կգործեմ, որ յուրաքանչյուր ազգ կամ յուրաքանչյուր անձ պետք է գիտնա իր արմատները, իրենց այս երկլեզու պատրաստությունը, իրենց շատ ավելի առավելություններ կուտա։
Գիտեք ինչ, ժողովուրդներ գրնան կոյադևել շատ երկար տարիներ, հազարամյակներ իրենց լեզվի պահպանումով։ Անոնց մե հերու չէ նաև հայերենը, շատ կարևոր է, որտեղ խոսակցական լեզուն եւ կարդալը եւ գրելը միայն կործածվելով կշարունակվին։ Իսկ եթե լեզումը մեռնի, մեռած լեզու կոչվի այդ լեզուն, կնշանակի այդ ժողովուրդը ավելի շատ արիտներ ունի գործվելու։ Միայն հայ անունը գրելով չես կրնալ ժողովուրդ պահել, չես կրնար հայրենիք պահել։ Ուրեմն կարևոր է երկուքը միատեղ ըլլան, եւ հայերեն լեզուն եւ հայը իրար հետ համատեղ պետք է ըլլան։
Your child will completely value the education that they receive at St. Stephen's because learning Armenian history, learning how to write and read will be so important to them in the future. Like I said before, I can't tell you how many people have told me that I wish I could speak Armenian with you right now and I wish I could understand what you were saying. So being able to do that, especially from a young age, is extremely important, and I can't stress that enough.
You're still going to get your groundwork curriculum here at St. Stephen's, but you're also going to have this great tool of having an Armenian language and knowing how to read and write another language, something that's so close to our heritage, so close to our culture, and it's something that you're not going to be able to experience any other way other than Armenian school.
I feel like it's kind of a foundation of like who we are like individually. It just, I mean, if I went to like a public school, I would not be the person I am today. I mean, St. Stephen's has literally like created me, like shaped who I am, like what I believe, and like all the pride that I have for our culture, and like everything is just all from the school.
Հարիջանաբար, բարի վերաթած, լավ ժամանակ
honestly, when I think of Armenia, I just think of, how close we all got and just the amount of emotion that was there every step of the way because, you going to an Armenian school, I mean, you study about the land, you read all about the land, and then you get to go, and it's just so, surreal because you've been studying it for, 9 years, so it's all, worth it when you see it.
I think it would have been such a different experience and a blessing to have experienced it with you guys because we were learning about this country with just such a small group of us. And I'm so happy that other classes are going, genuinely.
Yeah,
I think it's such an important part of the whole school.
We landed and it was just oh my God, we're here. And it felt like home. And I think more so because I was with what I felt like was my family. We were all brothers and sisters, and being home with family, it was the best feeling ever.
I really liked Noravank because when you get on those stairs that go up to the top, you can see everything. You see the landscape, you see the other churches in that complex, and it's just a really magical view.
Շատ կարևոր է ամեն մեկը եւ հատկապես ավելի ինքնավստահ գլաս երբ հայրենի հողիդ վրա քու ոտքերով գգայնիս եւ կտեսնես հայրենիքիդ զորությունը, հզորությունը։
Որովհետեւ այն ինչ որ սորված են այստեղ 8 տարիներու ընթացքին գերտան եւ իրենց աչքով կտեսնեն հայրենիքի մեջ եւ իրենց կապերը կզորանան հայրենիքի հետ եւ երբ կվերաթարնան հոս Կարծես մգրդված կլան իրապես իսկական հայ
Good job on the multiplication. That you definitely mastered the multiplication. We got working more on.
I mean, the education was very good. I think it's still one of the higher scoring in the the standardized testing. And when I went to public school, I think I and a lot of my classmates were ahead of the curve on a lot of the subjects.
Math, we have a curriculum that builds through the years, beginning in kindergarten, ensuring that the kids have all the skills that they will need to flourish in math and any other school program they go on to.
I think that's what St. Stephen's is all about. It's teaching you math and science and all of that, but also teaching you Armenian and your culture and everything there is to know about that. And it's just a perfect balance.
We also have Chromebooks that we're using primarily in grades 4 and 5, where the kids learn to use Google Classroom, Google Docs, Excel spreadsheets, and just keyboarding too, so that they're able to have the skills that are requisite to go on to middle school. But it is our goal that by the time they leave, they know how to do research, they know how to write a 5-paragraph essay, as well as a research paper.
The confidence that I have going into things all came from St. Stephen's. You're in a small class, the teachers are paying more attention to you. If you have a problem with math or anything, they're there to help you. So just going into the later years where your classes were so big, I had the confidence to become close with my teacher and ask them questions. And it's just the way that I was and the way that I learned came from here, and that's what helped me get to where I am today.
we follow the Common Core. We're able to look at all the standards and meet them and go above and really individualize the curriculum depending on the students in a particular class and the individual student.
One more page. How will he do that, Violet?
We always respected our teachers, and even the ones that weren't our favorites necessarily. We wanted to know when their birthday was because we wanted to do something for them.
Mr. Powers.
I would say Mr. Powers.
I mean, he was to this day one of my favorite.
Yeah.
For a while, my passwords were Powers. He really. I mean, he was the reason I went into finance.
I had Miss Balboni, who is now Miss Stevens, I think. I actually ran into her in a Starbucks in Wellesley, which was crazy. She recognized me.
Miss Panagrossi, I don't remember what her last name changed to. She was the first teacher I had here, and coming from Iran, where I was born, she was the one that taught me English and to speak English and to read and write in English. So she definitely had an impact on my life.
I think anyone going back and thinking about the school remembers Dean Anahid and everything she ever taught you.
I mean, she was since day one, was there until the end. I don't know if she's still here. Yeah. Alright, perfect. So yeah, she was definitely the most influential.
Because she taught you discipline and respect and how to respect others. She was the cornerstone of my Armenian learning, so I think she started it all. She's really important.
Որպես այ, եթե չխոսենք մեր լեզուն, կրեթե, գամած, կգործվի։ Պետք է խոսենք հայերենով, որպեսզի մեր լեզուն չգործվի։
I think she's the reason, even now when I used to babysit kids or nanny them, I would say, first thing you do when you go home is do your homework. It's not, you don't watch TV, you don't do all these things, and that's kind of what we grew up doing. We'd always go home and do our homework first, but I think some of it came from wanting to have the perfect homework critique in Anahit, because if that red pen touched the paper, we would feel so sad that, we didn't do the best that we could do, because she was, and if, she was so strict, but at the same time, if it wasn't for her, I don't know if we'd be able to read and write Armenian as fluently as we do today.
Հայ ուսուցիչ ըլլալը, հայերենի ուսուցիչ ըլլալը հատկապես, իսկապես կոչում է եւ առաքելություն, մեր ուսերուն վրա շատ մեծ բարդականություն կսկանք հայերեն դասավանդելով, որովհետեւ ամեն մարդ կրնա ամեն լեզու սորվեցնել, բայց հայերեն լեզուն ուրիշ արժանիք ունի եւ իսուր տեղ չէ ասած որ հայ լեզուն տունն է հայուն աշխարհի 4 ծակերուն ուրեմն մենք այդ լեզուն պիտի վերածենք տունի որ աշակերտը պիտի իսկա ապահով հանգիստ հայերեն լեզուն սորվեցնելը մեզի համար ամենամեծ բարդականությունն է որ մենք սիրով եւ մեծ ուրախությամբ կկատարենք լավ պատասխանեց
այո սպանալի միությունը խանգարվեցավ ասոտ այնտի եղբորը ապասի
Ըմպոստություններով։ Ես ինչ սեր ըմպոստություն, այսինքն չհնազանդի։ Ըմպոստանը սեր է մեկումը հրամանի կամ օրենքի չհետևի։
She did a really good job helping me to learn Armenian. I was a little behind the other kids in my knowledge of Armenian coming into St. Stephen's, and she spent a lot of time with me to make sure that not only did I memorize the Antoni Naguchun and memorize the Pared, but I also understood what they meant and got a good baseline understanding of the language instead of just memorizing the phonetics and the shapes of the letters.
Digan Artemis as well as Digan Anahid, both exceptional teachers, very paramount to the Armenian education we received.
I think Digan Araksi had a particular impact on me. That was my first real, that's the first thing I remember. I remember we did a little trip to Armenia in her class and we visited all the sites. Still in Digan Araksi's room, it was a great thing.
Knowing Armenian and learning it and going through that process definitely made it easier to learn another language, which I had to in high school.
Once you speak a second language, it's easier to pick up a third. So it, in a way, was a plus for us. I found myself excelling in Spanish much faster than the students who had already been studying Spanish since the 4th grade.
When it comes to the Armenian history and culture and what I've learned at St. Stephen's, I would say that in comparison to my high school classmates, I have a much broader view of history.
Going to an Armenian school really instilled in us, you know, our culture, our language, our history.
It's very easy to lose your Armenianness, I think, in the world that we live in. There's so many other things to do. And having that foundation at such a young age, I think really makes it hard for you to lose that.
A lot of us did home ed at men. A lot of us just like wanted to do everything Armenian, like abaka.
In high school, we started the Armenian club, which didn't really exist. And then I went to UMass, where I started the Armenian club, which didn't exist.
For me and for those who I'm closest with and all my friends and my family and my community, I've seen that going to St. Stephen's gave me the foundation to be involved in that community.
The Armenian pride that they instill in you, I think that carries on, transcends way beyond your graduation. I mean, after that, we were all involved in all aspects of the community.
This school is what instills in us the values and the seeds of what it takes to not only create but to make sure that this community that we have here in Boston exists.
There's just so much that you're going to get at an Armenian school that you won't see at a public school. Not only is the education so important, but it's also that like sense of community that you get out of an Armenian school.
It was always like you're a part of a family, and I think that's very unique, and I think that's an important service that this elementary school provides.
My best friends were definitely made here at St. Stephen's, and I don't know anyone who's ever said they regret coming here or they didn't love their experience here, and I think that's the same for all of us.
We made a family, I feel like, and we're all really close, and whenever we see each other, it's like we never separated for that long after school.
Your family extends beyond your immediate family, and I think we were lucky enough to know that not only do we have each other, but we have a home away from home within the school to this day. And we graduated 15 years ago.
Probably 95% of the friends that I have now that I regularly see or I go to as my first hand for anything would be the friends that I made in the Armenian school, went on to be friends with in the Armenian community in general. But I think more so, it's unfortunate to say, but my Armenian is slightly worse than my parents was, and my fear is that if I didn't put my kids in Armenian school, that would be lost altogether. And for me, that's something very important. Everything else is teachable.
There's nothing that a public school would have offered that I didn't get at St. Stephen's.
The public school system's great, but you're adding another dimension of the culture, and I think it's only going to add to their lives as they get older.
The critical part of this is many might think that, you know, going from such a small class and being really absorbed into everything Armenian will hinder them, but really it made me more determined to, you know, be all in, get to know as many kids as possible, looking back and knowing that like my teachers would be proud of me.
You know, the reservations that a parent has, like I don't want my child to be out of the loop in the public schools, and maybe it's the cost, you know, these are all really valid concerns, but the important thing to understand is that a child is going to have their whole life to go out into the world and meet new people, but the sooner you get them integrated into the Armenian community and the more opportunities they have to have experiences like this, the better. And for that reason, I would strongly urge any parent to send their kid to an Armenian school.
If anything, I think we gained more by coming to St. Stephen's just because we have that additional component of culture that other schools didn't have, and it's irreplaceable. You can do as much as you want to do at home, but what they do here with the Armenian culture and language is impossible to do outside of this school setting.
What your child is going to get here in being able to read, to write Armenian, to speak Armenian, and to, you know, form a connection to who they are, that can't be replaced.
The Armenian component is number one. And if that matters to you for the future of your child, if you want them to speak it, to read it, to write it, this is the school for you.
Շատ հետաքրքրական պատկան մոգուզեմ փոխանցել բոլոր ծնողներուն, բոլոր հայերուն, որոնք ապրին այս շրջանի մեջ։ Իսկապես հայ դպրոցը կարևոր է հայը հայ պահելու համար։ Փաստված իրողություն մնե այն քաղաքները, որտեղ հայկական դպրոց չի եղած, այդտեղի ժողովուրդը, այդտեղի հայերը ցուլված են։ Ուրեմն եթե կուզենք մենք մեր քոյությունը բահել, պետք է մեր զավակները հայկական դպրոց գրկենք։